Welcome to my session and welcome to my home in Seattle, Washington. I submitted 3 topics at DORA London, and I am thrilled that inclusion in technology got selected because it's an important and very relevant topic. We're going to talk about how we can accelerate our culture of innovation with teams and managers' inclusive practices. My name is Shaaron Alvares, and I work as an Agile and DevOps transformation coach. I am also an editor at InfoQ and a DevOps ambassador at the DevOps Institute. First, I want to look at the research data to understand the impact of diversity on teams and organizations. Then I want to describe teams and managers' inclusive practices that you can leverage within your own organization. Based on the last 10 years research, the benefits of diverse teams is absolutely irrefutable. We now know that teams that operate in an inclusive environment outperform their peers by a staggering 80%. Organizations where men and women are equal in numbers and inclusion earn 41% more revenue, and cultures that are racially and cognitively diverse outperform non-diverse ones by 35%. There are various reasons for that. Cognitively diverse teams are more likely to generate unexpected and out-of-the-box ideas. They are able to empathize and develop products tailored to a diverse or global customer base. So they greatly prevent bad product decisions. They also contribute to developing non-diverse teams because they challenge group thinking and the status quo. In turn, diverse workplaces attract high performers and foster greater engagement and retention. The case for diverse teams is no longer up for debate. Yet, we know we don't have to explain that tech is not diverse enough. DORA and Accelerate are probably the only research existing on DevOps diversity. They published global data in the last 3 years that shows that less than 25% of the DevOps workforce identifies as minority and only 6% identifies as women. The same data is presented in this great 2019 talk titled A Crisis of Diversity and Inclusion in DevOps. But great news, we have 2 major opportunities that we can seize now. The first one is the hiring horizon for the next decade, and the second is the millennials. We know that the technology skill gap is estimated to cost the US economy $2.5 trillion over the next decade. We also know that 2.4 million jobs will be unfilled over the next decade as well. So one way to meet this shortage and grow your talent pool is to actually hire and develop a diverse workforce. On the DevOps front, based on the 2019 Enterprise DevOps Skill Report by the DevOps Institute, 37% of companies are currently actively hiring for DevOps skills, and 14% will be hiring in the next 12 months. The second key opportunity is the millennials. Millennials are born between 1981 and 1996. They will represent 75% of the global workforce by 2025, which is just around the corner. They will be anything between 29 and 44 years old. Millennials fully understand and support the relationship between cognitive diverse teams and innovation. 83% of millennials are actively engaged when they believe their organization fosters an inclusive culture, and 47% of them are actively looking for diversity and inclusion when sizing up potential employees. That's right. To attract millennials and diverse talent, we need to ensure that we have an inspirational, robust, and genuine diversity and inclusion strategy in place. Because 54% of women today research a company's diversity and inclusion policies before accepting an offer. And 61% of women specifically investigate companies' leadership team before accepting an offer. There's no doubt diversity makes teams better, makes organizations better, wealthier, and more resilient. Diversity makes everyone smarter, and diversity benefits everybody. It's the right human and societal thing to do. So why aren't companies more diverse and inclusive when the business case in favor of diversity and inclusion strengthens every year? We often say and we hear that diversity equals innovation and revenue. But does it really? Well, it actually doesn't work like that. Diversity in itself won't drive innovation. If you have a diverse workforce with no inclusion or equity strategy, it will not generate innovation or revenue. The equation is actually a lot more complex than that. We need diverse teams, yes, plus we need a team psychological safety, team inclusive collaboration, managers inclusiveness, and managers practice of equity. And that leads to innovation and revenue. We need all of these parameters to work